I don't give two shits that families are being separated if somebody's getting deported. I actually find it hilarious. It gives me a great deal of comfort. I have no sympathy that your child might grow up without a father because he got sent back to Mexico or whatever. I mean, y'all are welcome to go with him. Don't forget that's an option. That's a choice that you're making, right? I don't have any sympathy for your little videos that you're making on social media with all the tears. I don't give a shit. I'm actually laughing at you that you're sitting there crying for attention. Okay. I find you guys to be subhumans. All right. Now, while you're sitting there judging me because I don't care that families are going to be separated from each other, I'd invite you to recall that hundreds of J6ers were separated from their families for something that equates to little more than a trespassing charge. Where were you then? Okay, bye.
It's just another illustration that the motivation to support everything Donald Trump does is simply the cruelty and delusion of superiority. So while this woman claimed people posting about the mass deportation plan were looking for attention, she apparently got some herself. At Bid Adieu, we hold ourselves to the highest standards of professionalism. We understand that the personal views expressed that surfaced through an online alias on an individual's social media post were deeply offensive. We can assure you that these personal views do not reflect the thoughts or values we strive to uphold as a company. We have taken decisive action. The incident has been reported to the police and FBI to monitor and deal with any potential risks or threats. The person involved has been contacted and is no longer with Bid Adieu. Some MAGA supporters must think that all of society agrees with their bigoted beliefs, enough to put out this kind of hateful virtue signaling. You can do it on conservative media, just not on TikTok.
What are you gonna do? You gonna come take it out of my ham? I'm gonna eat half this plate during the break. Maybe I'll call the ICE hotline. I don't know if I'll have enough time. Sure. All kidding aside, it was actually really good taco. These people broke the law. They broke the law to get here.
There's nothing worse than hearing someone eat into a microphone. Anyway, this is all just the process of normalizing more and more hate so that people will accept the next illegal and anti-American step that they want to take.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo. This will double our capacity immediately, right? And that's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens.
So are we paying attention? He's preparing to send arrested migrants off to Gitmo to be held in their newly created prison camps for who knows how long, whether or not they got due process before being sent off. But Trump doesn't want anyone asking questions about the process that they'll take in rounding people up. That's why he keeps inserting images of these scary migrants to desensitize folks from even caring about it. But did you notice him slip that last request in at the end for more money?
Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens.
Provide me more money to carry out my mass deportation. So while they plan to give taxpayer money out to his billionaire cabinet members through more tax cuts, he wants even more money to go to this. All because he sold enough people on their superiority complex.
We actually can accommodate 30,000 criminal migrants at Gitmo?
Absolutely, we can, and we can plus that up very rapidly. As you mentioned, I served there. I know exactly the places where this would happen. Guantanamo has long been a place for migrants. In fact, in the 90s, tens of thousands of Haitian and Cuban migrants staged there as part of a crisis. We have an even bigger crisis on our hands right now. It was mentioned, 7,500 violent illegals have been captured by ICE in the last 9 days. God bless them. Where do you move them? I'll tell you what, No one's going to be waiting on the Defense Department. And Guantanamo Bay, Jesse, is a perfect spot. We don't want illegal criminals in the United States, not a minute longer than they have to be. Move them off to Guantanamo Bay where they can be safely maintained until they are deported to their final location.
You see how this idea is literally being sold to the public? We'll just put them out there where they can be maintained. They're not talking about the system that they plan to put in place to legally determine, number one, who they consider illegal and what crimes that were committed. Because the energy of supporters like the woman at the top there are letting everyone know that they just don't care. They consider everyone that ICE arrests to be a violent immigrant. That's why the propaganda has been telling them that for decades.
Of course, the image that's going to be evoked by many people when you say Guantanamo Bay is going to be the prison side of Guantanamo Bay. And the question is, are you treating illegal immigrants the same way you treated Khalid Sheikh Mohammed? What you're telling us is, and I know this to be true, Guantanamo's been used for illegal immigrants dating back, I think it's 30 years. Bill Clinton used it for something very similarly back in the 1990s. So you're going to be using it as a way station, in essence, where criminal illegal immigrants are not yet accepted by their home country. Do I have that correctly? And if that's the case, describe for me the kind of illegal immigrant that will be sent to Guantanamo.
More or less, you're right. It's folks who maybe are in transit to their home country or a safe third harbor country, and it's taking a little time to move with that processing or the paperwork. Better they be held at a safe location like Guantanamo Bay, which is meant and built for migrants, meant and built to sustain that away from the American people as they are processed properly to where they came from. I can break down for you the locations at Gitmo because it's burned in my brain. I spent so much time there. Right. They're built for it. One of them is the golf course on the Naval Station, which can be expanded to provide an additional 6,000 places where migrants or illegals could go.
You know, the more they talk, the less it sounds like they're talking about humans. And when you combine that with an ego-driven fascist that's incapable of accepting anyone disagreeing with him, his target could quickly shift to American citizens for the sake of advancing his agenda. Notice how he starts out here, sending out a scary message to get people on board with his next plan.
They even break into apartments and rape elderly women and beat up elderly men, beat them to hell. And I don't want these violent repeat offenders in our country any more than I want illegal aliens from other countries who misbehave. And I say, and this is subject to getting it approved, but if they've been arrested many, many times, they're repeat offenders by many numbers, I want them out of our country. I also will be seeking permission to do so. We're going to get approval, hopefully, to get them the hell out of our country along with others. Let them be brought to a foreign land and maintained by others for a very small fee as opposed to be maintained in our jails for massive amounts of money, including the private prison companies that charge us a fortune. You know, let them be brought out of our country and let them live there for a while. Let's see how they like it.